Everybody experiences sadness from time to time. There are sad things in the world, but depression is something that lingers a little longer. People become more narrow in their approach to life. It's a natural thing to become more narrow. And then those symptoms persist because that narrowness.
Gotcha.
So what can pop you out of that narrowness oftentimes is helpful.
Dwight and I had just visited with a friend, and it was the captain of the ship he was on when he was in the Navy, and he was dying. He was in his hospital bed, and he had set a calendar up that he was going to complete certain things by certain dates, and then on the last day, if he wasn't dead, he was going to commit suicide. And we were invited. And Dwight and I get out to the car, and I calm down, and I look at him, and I'm thinking about this, and I said, Dwight, what does one wear to a suicide? And it totally diffused it. It totally diffused it.
There's the punchline.
Right.
If you can get to the punchline.
But they saw that.
Yes, that's right. If you can get to the punchline, then something has happened.
I had been doing counseling with this one client with her for about 2 years, and she had a really serious history of suicide. A lot of trauma when she was young. She was a widow in her 30s, and now she's in her 40s, and just can't find a lasting reason to live. She has attempted suicide 100 times, and she's been dead 4 times, and then they would bring her back. And she was going over this history and not wanting to live. And I knew her. I'd known her for about, as I said, for about 1.5 years. And I said, you're quite a perfectionist, right? And she said, yeah. And I said, isn't this, all this failing, because she called it failing, isn't all this failing at suicide bothering you? And she just stood there for a moment, and then she just cracked up laughing. And she's like, I'm not trying anymore. I don't want to be a failure. And that's the thought that comes in her mind when she thinks about it again. I don't want to be a failure. And for her, it works.
Dr. Celio helped his client, who once again gave us permission to share that story. He helped her get to that perspective. Remember what Dr. Geist talks about. You get to that perspective and start thinking funny. All of a sudden, the whole narrowness, the whole being rigid in your thinking goes away, and it offers up to be more flexible and more flexibility into your life and thinking. And once again, that woman has never tried to kill herself since then. So sometimes people aren't going to help you with that perspective. Sometimes you get there on your own and in your thinking. Remember the woman whose 8-year-old son drowned. And that one nurse innocently said, if I had that many kids, I'd have to drown one of them. Remember that innocently? And she said, David, at that moment, I made the choice to go with the absurdity. She didn't deny the sadness. She didn't dwell on the sadness. But when she thought about that, that's what helped her from going deep into the depression and from dwelling on it, because you can't dwell on it. You're going to stay there. But you also have to remember something very important that Scotty teaches us. Remember Scotty, the British sailor? That it never goes away.
It's never dwelled on me, but it has been there.
It never goes away.
Never goes away.
It's important, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think you can ever take it away because you have experienced that. I can still hear the propellers hitting that body.
You were there.
I was there. But what we did afterwards cancels it out because, yes, he died, but yes, we remembered him for what he was.
If you witnessed something of a post-traumatic stress, how is the best way to deal with it?
Share it. Share your problem. Don't linger on that problem, that issue alone.
If you can look at yourself and open yourself up, and like I said, some people refuse to take off their sunglasses and really admit to themselves who they are. Come on, people. We live in a society that's already tainted by so many colors. At least take off your sunglasses for your own benefit. See who you are, what you're capable of.
And be able to laugh at yourself.
And be able to laugh.
If you can laugh at yourself, you can heal yourself. And that's what we do every day.
It got to the point, it was so ridiculous, so much had happened in our family, you just have to laugh at it.
If you can laugh about it, if you can smile, if you can find somebody like, man, you know what, this is jacked up, but I'm here.
And you learn how to appreciate life, and you learn really, really quickly.
Don't you kill yourself. You hang. You hang in there, you do not kill yourself.
You really have 2 choices. You can die a little bit more every day, or you can learn how to live a whole lot more every day. And we just chose how to learn how to live.
Yes, we have to choose to live, not exist. We can exist with sadness, we can exist with depression, but we go nowhere. We just exist, we don't live. And as you remember, sometimes the pain is so great. What accidentally happened to Leon when he accidentally ran over his 2-year-old daughter. That there wasn't anything funny or remotely humorous about that. But he found a way to get through that by helping other people, by serving other people, and that was his way of doing it. We have to find our own way to get through it, and that's one thing that we learned from Dr. Jean. Remember what her dad taught her?
He taught me to walk through whatever it was that was troubling me, and I would get to the other side. I saw him do it day in and day out.
That's just a template right there of getting through PTS and PTSD.
Exactly.
You have to walk through it.
Have to walk through it.
You can't get through it unless you go through it.
Absolutely. Can't go around it. People say get over it. You don't get over things. You have to get through things to get to the other side.
You don't have to run through it.
Nope.
But you have to walk through it.
Slowly, sometimes painfully, but there's people there to hold your hand while you're getting through it. And then you can let go of that hand and stand on your own 2 feet and be able to smile and say, I'm okay. I'm okay the way I am.
That's what got me through the night.
That would stay in the vault. You'll never know why Sinbad and I were laughing as hard as we did. That's between 2 buddies. Do you wonder why I had the Mayan ritual where the guys were falling? I filmed that a long time ago in Puerto Vallarta when I was down there working on a ship, and I just thought it was cool to do it. And then it occurred to me while I was doing this episode and the whole series on depression and suicide is when we're sad and we're depressed and we're going through all these emotions, we feel like we're falling. But when I want to say, and I can't get up, I don't want to use that one. But when that happens to us, what grounds us, what gets us to land on our feet is when we go through those emotions and get through them and understand them. Humor can help, laughter can help, EMDR can help. Sometimes serving others will help, just what happened with Leon. It's tough stuff, folks. This is tough stuff we go through. I can't thank you enough for trusting me, and you just have to laugh, to come to this class on depression, suicide. It's tough. I was going to say grief right there. You saw me pause because grief enters into that. You know, we do have another series on grief that you may see some of these people, because when I interviewed them, they had all these different things we talked about, and I found, ooh, these are cool places to put in here because, as you know, you just have to laugh. Example is not another way to teach. It's the only way to teach. Have you also noticed why it's in black and white and color? Me, color, they're in black and white. Black and white when I'm talking to the folks. I don't want you to be distracted by what's behind them. I want you to listen to what they're saying. Also, whether we use humor and laughter, it's black or white. There's no gray area. You either do it or you don't. That's why I put that in there. Have you noticed all this stuff behind me? It changed every class. Did you notice that? Maybe some of you did. Maybe some of you didn't. It changed each one. Why? Because when we are looking for humor and laughter, we have to be aware there's something there and things change. And we have to go with the change and have to be able to take it so we can get some perspective, so we don't stay narrow and rigid in our thinking, so we have some flexibility to move through life. I want you to live, not exist in emotions. Live. Humor and laughter is one of the best ways to do it. Sometimes clenching will help too, because you can't cry and clench at the same time. Hey, check out the other series we have here on You Just Have to Laugh. If I can be of any help, you can get a hold of me at yjhtl.com. Keep laughing, think funny, and stay amused. And don't forget to help people.